Don't define yourself by the worst experience you have every day. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Troy Fox. Troy, we do this. We define ourselves by the worst event of the day. Why do we do that?
I don't know, and we kind of talked about this before the show. I was backing my truck in the other day and heard a quote about this and came up with this idea for us to talk about this today. Quite frankly, because a lot of our youths, that's from my cousin Vinny, I think.
Yep.
That makes me old because that's an old movie. The youths are struggling with their identity, and a lot of times they define themselves by the worst moment in their day. And I thought about that as chiropractors. Do we do that? And I thought, I've allowed that to happen. I've
Yep,
had,
I have too.
we'll throw a number out there: 59 patients that think I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and can't wait to come see me again because my adjustment is just solid gold. And then I have one patient that didn't like what I did that day, or didn't like what I said, how I said it, what shirt I wore, whatever turned them off for that day. And I define myself by that one moment. Can you imagine, Dr. Perush, if you defined yourself by your worst moment every day for a year?
No,
What would that do to you?
it would completely tear you down. You would always
Yeah,
think you would come to expect it.
yeah,
You'd walk into the clinic, excuse me, every day thinking, wow, it's just going to be another bad day.
yeah. And we have staff that do the same thing. They
Sure.
have stuff going on personally, professionally, and they get dragged down by that too. So I'm going to say that there are several things that we can do. And I'm going to throw out one idea, and that's staff huddles every morning.
Yep.
And we talk about positive things in staff huddles. We're going to have a great day. Let's look at where we've got some snags or some hangups in the practice. Let's rectify those right now, or let's look at what we can do to make them better. Let's all have a wonderful day, and let's love on our patients. Break, and it's time to get to work at that point. That's one thing that you do, is you have that positive moment at the beginning of the day with the whole
Yep.
staff.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
And,
love that.
we always do that. And I always try to throw in just some kind of positive affirmation or,
Hmm.
even just a simple, hey, everybody, let's just make it a great day. Whatever
Yeah,
happened at home on the way here, whatever happened yesterday, it's not showing up today. Let's just make it a great day.
right. Positivity is infectious. If you
It
guys
is.
haven't noticed that before, if you've ever been around somebody that is just religiously positive, it really starts to affect you because it makes it really hard for you to be negative all the time. So, from a staff standpoint, and even impacting your own attitude, you talked about positive affirmations. I think we have to give ourselves those on a regular basis. And I think when we do, what we do is we create a situation where we make it almost impossible for
Right.
us to be negative because we're constantly either writing or saying positive affirmations. So, if you haven't ever tried that, folks, you need to do it, because going into your office with a sour attitude, I basically, what do they say? Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. No,
I
it's
go into
true.
the office every day with an at. Somebody said to me one time, and this was a really interesting conversation. They said to me, we were together on a Sunday afternoon, and we were at an event that was an outdoor event where there are a lot of people drinking beer, kind of, it was like a lake event kind of thing. And I was drinking like lemon water or whatever, and they said, "Well, why are you not, participating?" And I'm like, "It's not that I wouldn't drink a beer, but when I go into my office on Monday morning, I'm either 110% or I'm nothing."
Right.
And so for me, Sunday is a day of rest
Yep.
for me. I'm gonna go to church on Sunday. I'm gonna make sure that the rest of the day that I feed my soul and that I'm physically and mentally ready to go back into the office on Monday, because I think that's an important
It's a
way
day
to
of,
be.
yeah, it's a day of rest and prep for the next day. Absolutely.
Right.
I was the same
So yeah, I
way.
don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be in a position where I can't be 110%, or I come in impaired. And I don't mean impaired like I show up to work
No,
drunk.
but just
What I'm
come in
talking about
tired.
is impaired.
Yeah,
If
come
you're
in tired.
tired because because you were out and about too late, or maybe you had a couple of alcoholic beverages and you didn't sleep too well or whatever. I don't ever want to be that way in practice.
No, and we also had in the clinic, and we still do in all of our offices here at Cats, but
Yeah.
we always had positive messages in
Hmm.
strategic places. Some of them
Yeah.
were where patients could see them, and
Yeah.
some were just maybe coming in the back door, so you see it right when you walk in. I my desk has a glass top to it,
Hmm.
and under the glass, all over the desk, are just all these positive affirmations. And we had them
Yeah.
everywhere. Where we had staff meetings, we had a couple of big successories posters, that just talked about team building and those kind of things. So everywhere you looked in the office, you saw something positive. And then we also gave the idea and permission, if you will, to all of our staff that part of our job is to keep each other pumped up.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to have a bad thing, or a patient who rides you a little bit because they're not doing well or something, and we all need to just be paying attention to that. Or a patient that rides the front desk a little bit over the cost of something sometimes, or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
We all need to be cognizant that those things are happening, and just go by and give that person a high five or something. Just that transfer of energy sometimes between each other. Or, hey, I recognize what just happened, and you're good. We're a team. Just keep each other really pumped up. And I always like to take those bad experiences that sometimes happen, I like to break them down. What really happened? And do we really need to feel bad about it? Or was it born out of somebody else having a bad day and trying to transfer that negative energy to us? Because that's a lot of times what happens. So we need to figure out ways to help our patients by helping them defuse their bad days, their bad experiences, and those kind of things. So, when you see one coming in the office, heads hanging down and those kind of things, boost them up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, let's take a short break and let's go
Yeah,
to our sponsor
we
real
have a
quick.
message from our sponsor, so we'll be right back. Here's a quick message from our sponsor, Cats Chiropractic Business Advisors.
Is your team dropping the ball?
Do you have your go-to person who always has the ball?
Is your team trained and ready for what daily practice throws at them?
Can you depend on your team to catch the training on their own?
Let us help you hit it out of the park. We want to be your coach.
All right, everybody, we're talking about the worst experience of the day, actually modeling and identifying your day in a bad way, and how we can create some positivity and create some positive affirmations to turn that around and have
Yeah.
good days.
We did talk a little bit before the break. We were talking a little bit about identifying whether this is something that needs to be addressed. By all means, there are times when people are just having a bad day and they're shedding off some bad juju on you, and you're like, yeah, we just need to blow that off and move on. But by all means, I think it's important as well that we do address at times, because if there's a very real concern in your office, something has happened that shouldn't have happened, or something that's happened that wasn't the best experience for one of our patients that's coming into the office, then it needs to be talked about with the staff and you
Absolutely.
need to address it. So there are times that we have to own up to our failures. And I think owning up to our failures creates a situation where we are stronger each and every time we do that, which allows you to not define yourself by that worst point of the day, because you go, you know what? We've addressed it. It was a bad situation, or it was a situation we didn't want to have occur, and we've corrected that situation. Now, that patient, once you tell them that you've corrected the situation, may accept that, they may not accept it, but then you have to let that go.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And, we recognize very adamantly that mental health is a real issue in our country right
Hmm.
now. And there's a lot of reasons, I think, for it. Not here to talk about that necessarily today, but there's a lot of negativity out there,
Oh man.
whether it's social media driven, or it's pandemic driven, or it's, just the woes of the economy, and, there's a lot working against us. And I really believe that our chiropractic clinics can be kind of this haven of positivity for people.
Safe zone.
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. And I'll tell you a short little story. I'll try to make it short. But when 9/11 happened, our clinic was rocking and rolling that day. And we had the radio on in the clinic, and the news came on, and they were talking about, what was going on. And so we went over and instinctively turned it up because there's something, crazy going on.
Mm-hmm.
And after just a little bit, the clinic was packed that day. After just a little bit, I noticed that it was really starting to bring people down. So
Mm-hmm.
I went over
Mm-hmm.
and I changed the channel, and I flipped it over
Right.
to we were a very Christian-based clinic. I flipped it over to a Christian radio station.
Mm-hmm.
The demeanor totally changed. And all of a sudden, what I noticed was all kinds of people were coming to the clinic because our patients were on their phone saying, "Hey, you got to go to Dr. Perusich's office. If you're scared, if you're anxious, whatever, come by here because this is the most relaxing place I've ever been in at that
Right.
particular moment."
You want
So,
to be that beacon.
right. So pay attention to what's happening in your practice. Pay attention to what's happening with your patients. And as a team, come up with ways not only to support each other, but we really can be that bastion in our clinics of
Yeah.
changing the negative experience sometimes.
Yeah. So I think in summary, our mental health being where it needs to be is giving us the ability to help support our patients. So we want you to be as healthy as you can be. And one way to do that is not thrive on negativity and not to be defined by that worst moment of your day. Be defined by your best moment of the day. Have you ever walked out of your clinic all pumped up because like something really cool happened and you can't really identify anything negative that happened, so you didn't dwell on it? I've had days like that where like
Right.
everything went right, and you come out of there and you're floating on a cloud, your feet aren't even touching the ground. What if you focused on the best moments of the day every day instead of the worst? How much would your clinic grow? How much would your psyche expand and your ability to help others as a result of it? Think about it. That's a real step in the right direction for you, docs.
Great point. Great point. And if you know somebody or somebody experiencing severe mental health issues, there's lots of help out there for them. So be the beacon to help guide them to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Great topic. Go forth and be positive. And thanks everybody for listening to the KC CHIROpulse podcast brought to you by CATS Consultants. Go check us out at catsconsultants.com. Download some of our free stuff. Check in with us if you want to go through a breakthrough call with us. We'd love to hear about your practice. And if you have any thoughts on podcast ideas, send them to Troy at catsconsultants.com. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See ya.